Welcome to Check-In, hosted by the ATL Airport Chamber. I'm Carmen Lita Scott, President and CEO of the ATL Airport Chamber. My co-host is Dr. Diane Daniels Adama of Diane Adama's Consulting. Today, we're going to check in with Rickey L. Clark Jr., City Manager for the City of Jonesboro, Georgia. Rickey was appointed by the Mayor and City Council as City Manager to ensure the efficient day-to-day operations of the City of Jonesboro. He advises the Mayor and the City Council of financial conditions, of current and future city needs. In addition, Rickey led the establishment of the National Accredited Jonesboro Main Street Program and led the change to raise approximately $90,000 within the first year of inception. Equally important, he was the project lead for the redevelopment of the city's Firehouse Museum that will serve as an $8 million walkabout downtown amenity in downtown Jonesboro, which connects with the city's restaurants and retail district. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check in with Rickey L. Clark Jr., City Manager for the City of Jonesboro, Georgia. Rickey, as a native of Griffin, Georgia, you're not a stranger to executive level management. Tell us more about yourself.
Well, thank you, Carmelita. I'm just a Georgia-grown young millennial that had a passion for helping others. It's within that passion that I found the number one way that I could really impact generations for generations to come, and those that were close to me was to get involved in the process. You know, oftentimes we see individuals that say, hey, I want to see change in this area. I want to see change in this area. But I said, I want to be a part of the actual change. And at the core of that change is your local government. So I decided to get involved in local government. Born and raised in Griffin, Georgia, big into church. I've been a minister of music since the age of 7. In addition to that, I enjoy just spending time with people, friends, and family, and just enjoying life. Seeing people smile is what I wake up for every day.
So, Rickey, how has the COVID-19 pandemic affected the city of Jonesboro, which normally has a daytime population of about 20,000 people?
So, interesting enough, I was speaking with staff last week, and I said, while I can't say that our finances have been terribly affected by COVID-19, because generally speaking, we'll feel that next year. The one thing I think we feel the most is the fact that we're not able to get out and interact with our residents. By this time, we would have probably hosted 4 or 5 concerts with over 8,000 people in attendance, seeing our residents walk around the street, coming up to City Hall, just speaking, talking, being able to hug, interact with our stakeholders and businesses. To me, that's been the number one major impact of COVID-19. It's funny because we are one great community, many story, but behind that story is the Southern charm that really personifies our being and personifies what we as a metropolitan Atlanta city want to be known for.
And talk about Southern charm. Considering the pandemic, how do you feel the essential workers are managing in your city in this uncertain environment?
Sure enough, the essential workers have been on the front line since the beginning of all of this. I think in the beginning, including myself, we were worried, we were concerned. What are we going to do? This is something that we didn't prepare for. Even though we prepared for natural disasters, we've never prepared for a pandemic of this magnitude. However, where there's a will, there's a way. And what I can say, I think I work around some of the finest men and women that they are. And so we pulled together, came up with strategic plans to identify all of the possible hazards, all of the things that could possibly happen, and then implementing things of how can we fix this? How can we avoid this? How can we assist our residents even during this pandemic, but to ensure the safety of them and our frontline essential workers? We've had several conversations with them relative to, what's your natural state of mind right now? How are you dealing with this? How can we as a local government ensure you that we have your best interest at heart? So our legislative body has instituted several different things for our public employees, our frontline essential employees. one of which I'll speak on, is a public health leave. So we've shared with our employees, if you become affected with COVID-19, if you are around someone with COVID-19, if a family member in your house gets COVID-19, we want you to be safe while still protecting our organization. So our legislative body allotted 2 weeks of annual leave for those employees that come to me and say, hey, I was around this, I obtained COVID-19, what I'm going to say is, this is for you. Take the time to quarantine yourself so that we can stop the spread. And that's what we want to share with everybody. We just need to stop the spread.
So, Rickey, with the city of Atlanta and also Gwinnett County, and I recently heard Athens, Georgia, and several other municipalities are now mandating that their citizens wear masks when they're in public spaces. So can you share with us what are your thoughts on that subject in regards to your city, Jonesboro?
So, good question. So the mayor and I actually had a conversation on yesterday about the mandatory mask, right? So it's one of those things where I would much rather see on a state level our governor implement something so that we as local communities have something that's more enforceable. We are definitely considering mandatory masks. I think it is something that we need to do because if you look at the numbers that are put out every day, the numbers of those affected, they're not going down. While we continue to go along with business as usual, these businesses are still open. We must continue to try to stop the spread of this virus once and for all. So I'm totally 100% for mandatory masks and punitive action for those that violate.
That is a big topic everywhere across the country, as well as reopening schools. How do you think this will affect the impact of opening schools in August?
Sure. So one of the things I'm privileged is to work within a community there in Clayton where we have a wonderful school district. Our school leadership, Dr. Beasley and his communication team, they have done a wonderful job just educating everyone, all of those 55,000 students that are in that district, as well as all of the stakeholders in the county as to what those reopening options will look like. I definitely think we are prepared, and I think what you're going to see is a blended schedule. I think you're going to see kids go back, some in person, you're going to see some staying in that virtual space from home. I look at it, I say, how would I have been if I had the opportunity to sit at home and look in front of a computer all day and never go interact with the kids, And I say for me, it perhaps would not have worked because I can get into a little bit of everything. But I really think with the technology that we have today, I really think the kids will be well off. And I think the district has instituted several different parameters to ensure that that learning still continues to happen even away from the actual classroom setting. But I've always been a firm believer, but that learning begins at home anyway. So perhaps it gives those parents and those aunties and grandmothers a stronger opportunity to get involved with that matriculation of those kids.
Now, Rickey, you have a dynamic resume and a bio. And I know that you successfully led the charge for the nationally accredited Main Street program in Jonesboro. And that area is thriving. Can you please share with the audience a little bit more about that program?
So the Main Street approach focuses on economic vitality, design, promotion, and organization. With that, we tailored the program for Jonesboro. So we went through a rigorous year trying to get certified, trying to ensure that our stakeholders, this is something that they want. This is something that the legislative body wanted. And so now that we are perhaps only the second accredited Main Street program in Clayton County, the first being College Park, we have been able to leverage the sky as it relates to resources. So we are able to offer downtown revolving loans. We're able to offer incentives as it relates to design assistance. Our Main Street program, in only 3 years, we've raised over $100,000. Annually, we're raising about $17,000 with just membership dollars. So that just goes to show our community is really supportive of that effort. And we're able to show how we've put the 4 Main Street tools in place to continue to revitalize our downtown district.
So, Rickey, I thought that the best moment in your career was when you met me, but I now stand corrected. Sir, you are a very busy individual committed to elevating Jonesboro. You spearheaded the creation of the Jonesboro Enterprise Zone, which is the first in Clayton County, and ensured Jonesboro became a rural zone. Please tell our viewers more about these projects.
For sure. So the enterprise zone is just another tool. You'll hear me talk about how many tools we have in our toolbox. At the end of the day, what was critical for me and equally important to our stakeholders and citizens was revitalizing our community. While sometimes people looked at Clayton County for only the negative that you've seen in the press, when I came into the community, what I saw was a loving community, a community that embraced everyone regardless of the race, the age. It was just an inclusive, embracive community. So in order to ensure that those individuals within that community and stakeholders alike had resources so that they did not have to get on the highway and drive 20 to 30 miles to get to something nice, we said we're going to do it in our downtown district. We want to do it in our own community so that they can walk to it or get on their golf cart, to ride to these different locations. So in order to ensure that developers had some type of incentives, we sought out these different programs. So with the enterprise program, it's a way for me to leverage some of our city resources and to show share our resources with those developers coming to say, hey, we're going to share in this with you. We're going to waive a portion of some of these permitting fees. We're going to waive some of your licensing. We're going to help you with some of the design aspects. For some of your conceptual illustrative renderings, we're going to provide funding to help you do those things. And then coupling that with the rural zone, we're able to offer up to $150,000 worth of tax credits and also assist you with monetizing those tax credits to leverage the front-end investment that you'll have to make out of your pocket. And one of the things that we like to present from our office is this concierge model. Whereas if you come to me, regardless of where you are in your business career, you are a new entrepreneur that's wishing to take your dream and build this big enterprise with it, or if you are a developed business owner that's just looking to relocate your business, my team will be there, including me every step of the way to help you navigate that process. Because the last thing I want to happen is for you to get discouraged when you're the individual or developer that's dishing out the money to get discouraged and walk away. So what I said is I share in that with you. I will be the cheerleader when you come to my office with this business idea, as well as the person shaking your hand, telling you a job well done when you open the door.
Recently, you were appointed and nominated to serve on the Atlanta Airport Chamber's Board of Directors. With your vast knowledge and experience in the many areas of economic development, how do you feel you can assist in that particular environment?
It's a great question. Again, I'll go back to those tools. Leveraging Hartsfield-Jackson Airport and those areas around it is something that will not only help Fulton and Clayton counties, it's something that will help our state. And so for me, what I think I bring to the table is the ability to not just talk about what I'm willing to do, but the ability to act upon it. The ability to bring in resources and leverage different investors and developers to the resources that the Atlanta Airport Chamber is already providing. The other thing that I think I bring to the table is the fact that I'm willing to work. I enjoy waking up in the morning, going to sleep at night, knowing that I fulfill something, because for me, A affects B affects C. So if the Atlanta region around Hartsfield-Jackson Airport does well, so does Clayton County, because people are going to have to travel through both areas to get to wherever they're going.
That's really impressive, Mr. Clark. Keeping that in mind, how does the Development Authority and the Jonesboro Main Street program interact?
So the Development Authority and the Main Street Board, they're in Jonesboro, as a group of stakeholders and citizens that see the vision and see the mission. They interact very well. I serve as the executive director of both entities. And I'll tell you, it's almost as if instead of the local government having to lead the charge on multiple fronts, we have this group of citizens and business owners that take charge. And in their taking charge, they become ambassadors for everything that our legislative body is looking to do, because at the core of it is this Livable Centers initiative plan that was developed 3 to 4 years ago, and we're only following the plan. So when people see these different things happening in Jonesboro, they see the revitalization of our downtown community. They see the housing stock beginning to change. They see the different diverse groups of individuals that are moving into the community. What we're able to pinpoint is we came to the community and say, this is our thought. We want to get your opinion and your feedback to help us develop this master plan for our community for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we want to start implementing what you want to see in your home. And so what those two entities allow us to do is implement that plan. You know, they've done several bond deals. They continue to work actively and aggressively hand in hand with our legislative body to enact change in our community. And it's very impressive.
Thank you.
Now, Rickey, our young people are very, very important. So if you could give our young people one piece of positive advice to encourage and to motivate them, especially during this pandemic, what would that be?
It's a great question. For me, I'm always talking about, what is my why? Why do I wake up in the morning? Why do I smile? Why do I get upset? Why do I continue to have favor? Understanding your why will allow you the ability to never let anyone tell you no. At the end of the day, I love a wall being placed in front of me, because what happens when that wall comes in front of me, or someone places something in front of me that they don't think I can do, or they're not allowing me the opportunity to do, I'm going to learn about that wall. I'm going to learn about why that wall was put in front of me. And in learning about that wall, I will slowly take it down and climb over it, because I serve a God that tells me that everything is possible. I tell people, develop your why. Why do you belong? And once you know your why, nobody will ever be able to stop you.
That is just excellent. And in regards to the why, it puts you in a situation where you no longer have to climb through the window, because you can just walk through the door. You know, the city of Jonesboro is a fabulous place to be in. They have great businesses, but in addition to that, the community itself, and I experienced that firsthand. I carried the Olympic torch through the city of Jonesboro in 1996, and the residents there, I ran from a cul-de-sac. Those residents opened up the cul-de-sac, had a barbecue, had a picnic, had everything for those that were watching me run enjoy. It was just phenomenal experience. And Rickey, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us about the city of Jonesboro that maybe we just don't know?
So I'll share this. Oftentimes, in this 21st century of technology, we focus on what we see in the news, we focus on what we see on social media. But one thing I'll share with you is I've lived in several different places, I've worked in several different places, and I've had opportunities to travel many different places. There is no place like Jonesboro. I'm not saying it as an employee, I'm saying it based upon the fact that I've never been around a place so sincere, so near and dear to my heart, that it made me want to work as hard as I have to develop and enact change in that community. So the thing I'll share with you in closing, be on the lookout for all of the great things to come. Slutty Vegan is opening its doors. We have several different condos coming downtown. The Broad Street Revitalization Project will be open sometime in September. We have new grocery stores coming in. We just have an abundance of things going on in the community. And my challenge to you is, call my phone and let me tour you around the community so you can see the great things that are really happening.
So, Rickey, what you're really saying is Jonesboro is home, and there's no place like home. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first on Check-In, hosted by the ATL Airport Chamber. We wish to thank our guest, Rickey L. Clark Jr., City Manager, City of Jonesboro, for letting us check in with him today.